Ivanka Trump wants you to know that she is really mad at the elitists over in Washington. Now, she posted a tweet in response to a segment that has gone viral. And I want to show you that segment first, and then we'll get into her tweet and the hilarious responses. Stay right here. Watch.
He also knows deep in his heart that Donald Trump couldn't find Ukraine on a map if you had the letter U and a picture of an actual physical crane next to it. He knows that this is, an administration defined by ignorance of the world. And so that's partly him playing to their base and playing to their audience, the credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump, that wants to think that Donald Trump's the smart one and y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling, even though
your math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading, your geography, knowing other countries, sipping your latte.
All those lines on the map.
Only them elitists know where Ukraine is. Sorry, I apologize.
But by the way, oh my God!
But you know what? But it was Rick's fault. I blame Rick.
All right, look, that is kind of funny, especially the joke about the U and the crane. Okay, that was good. But here's the thing, right? So Rick Wilson, I got no love for Rick Wilson. Why? He's a Republican strategist, and this guy is one of the worst people, right? That supposedly is now in resistance Twitter, right? Part of the resistance. In reality, he resists progressives and he resists, progressive priorities. But nonetheless, well, he's anti-Trump, so of course he gets to sit next to Don Lemon. So his job was literally to appeal to the people that he just made fun of. In reality, this is actually what Republicans think about their base, right? When he's talking down to the Trump people, he's talking down to people that he had tried to appeal to. So straight up, right? Oh, these guys are idiots. Oh, definitely some of them are. And look, there's a difference here between just ignorance, right? Where there's like normal ignorance, like, yeah, I don't know where Ukraine is. I don't know where who the leader of Uzbekistan is, right? But look, if you're somebody who's in power, if you're Mike Pompeo, well, then of course you should know where Ukraine is on the map. You should be able to point it out. If you're Donald Trump, you should be able to point that out. Donald Trump is an idiot. And as I've said it before, he's the Fox News president. He has no intellectual curiosity. So I will make fun of people who have no intellectual curiosity, who are, like ignorant by choice. That said, am I going to call old Trump supporters ignorant by choice? Not necessarily. I mean, I have made fun of them before. That is true. And look, sometimes I got to take a step back and be like, look, is that something are they all completely ignorant? Are they all, terrible people like that? I don't know. Not necessarily. And so it kind of makes me think like there is a section of Republicans along with, progressives that really are sick of the elites, right? Now, these guys in this segment, they are elites. Nobody on that panel, I don't know about Washaja Ali, right? I don't know personally, but I certainly know that Rick Wilson and Don Lemon, those guys are part of the elite. They're worth millions of dollars. Don Lemon gets paid millions of dollars a year to be there, right? So it's interesting that they're having a conversation about this and basically looking down on voters, right? So that kind of that's a problem with me, right? So now, as far as the voters, it is a shame that they don't see that Donald Trump is also a member of the elite. He's an elitist prick, which leads me to, of course, to Ivanka. Now, Ivanka says you consistently make fun of half the country and then complain that it's divided. The arrogance, mocking accents, and smug ridicule of this nation's real elites is disgusting. All right, so now, first of all, it's not actually half the country. So you look at the votes, right? It's actually roughly a third of all adults in the voting base, right? So I say around a third, roughly maybe half of that voted for Donald Trump. And why? It's because voter turnout in this country is depressingly low among the eligible voting population. So, yeah, she's wrong, right? But anyway, on that, she's basically saying, well, look at these smug elites. Well, now, wait a minute. Ivanka Trump, you are literally sitting in an ivory tower yourself. You are the elite. To think that Ivanka or any of the Trumps know what it's like to be a regular working person in this country and can identify with us, no, that's comical. Absolutely comical. And so why would she at all speak up, right? It's ridiculous. That's why, of course, she got savaged on Twitter. In fact, let me show you some tweets here because these are good. Here's the thing. On this show, I like to punch up at the elites instead of punch down at the voters, which is what Rick Wilson and Don Lemon and Wajahat Ali were actually doing on that show. So, like, I'm not in favor of that, but I'm definitely in favor of this. Kel says, please sit this one out. Nepotism Barbie. The roast that awaits you will not be pleasant. It is true. It was not pleasant. Benjamin Dreyer says, I didn't even know you could get a degree in complete cluelessness and lack of self-awareness. Well, for some people, like Ivanka Trump, it's a natural skill. Maybe you're born with it. Maybe you're a Trump. Rocky Mountain View says, the evening gown and shoes you wear to a single party in D.C. cost more than what most Trump supporters earn in a year. Maybe some introspection would do you some good. No, I totally agree with that. Again, she is part of the elite. Lisa says, are you, Ivanka, calling other people elites? How much money did you and Jared grift this year? How many staffers in your household? How often do you do your grocery shopping? Those, again, are super good questions. Look, we know, and he said this in basically a campaign rally, that he thinks you need an ID to buy groceries. No, you don't. You don't need an ID to buy groceries. That's ridiculous. But Donald Trump's never been food shopping for himself at all. He's utterly clueless about this whole thing. Barry Williams adds, real elites is typed by a woman who got into college as a legacy, got hooked up with modeling jobs due to calling in favors, married to a guy whose felonious dad, had to buy a building to get him into college of his choice because, like Donald Trump, he was too stupid, and was handed a job by her dad. Oh. Look, none of that's untrue. Again, Donald Trump only made it into Wharton because of a sympathetic admissions officer to his brother. His brother was an alumnist, and so that's how Donald Trump got into college. And while he was there, one of his instructors called him the dumbest person to have ever been in his class. Not a smart person, and totally ignorant by choice. And that's what this is. So now, as fun as this is, again, you got to remember that Don Lemon, Rick Wilson, and Ivanka Trump, they are all members of the elite. They all make millions of dollars and don't actually understand or represent regular people. They do not live like us. So you have to remember that. Okay? And as fun as it is to laugh at, some of the people who are poorly educated, as Donald Trump says, and by the way, he loves the poorly educated because they're easier to, bamboozle to get you to vote for a con man. Look, it's a great example of elite on elite crime. That's what this segment is, right? Now, that's always fun to see. I always like it when, members of the media, the wealthy tend to fight each other because that means that they're not actually fighting us. But in the end of this, none of this helps the American people. None of this helps struggling Americans, and none of this brings people over to your side. I mean, you want to make fun of idiotic Trump supporters. Again, look, I'll be honest, I have, but I'm beginning to not be proud of that. It's kind of like, it kind of makes me feel bad. Like, we should not be, as progressives, punching down. We should be punching up. It's supposed to be the 99% versus the 1%. Now, again, if you are willfully ignorant and you want to sit there and believe that, oh, no, despite all the evidence, climate change is not happening and it's just a plot to get me to pay more taxes, it's ridiculous. You're going to ignore all the education for what? You're going to actually end up helping to destroy the environment while enriching the elites. That's the problem here. you've got to look at the money. You've got to look at who makes the money. And the oil companies are making all the money. The wealthy are making all the money by extracting it all from the rest of us. That's why we need a bottom-up progressive movement in order to fight for those things, in order to fight for regular people. So in a lot of the cases, though, again, I think the ignorance is the choice, and I do mock that. And I'm understanding that, look, if you are, like I said, one of those people that, it thinks in these crazy, insane theories, well, then I can't help you. I can't help you. You have facts, but you choose to reject them. That's not who I want to go after. In some cases, though, there's desperation, right? Being crushed by the establishment. And these are the brick throwers, right? These are the people that you can reach. These are the people that Bernie Sanders was talking about. They're not the, ones that are, and I know we tend to lump old Trump supporters or Republicans into one group, that is completely unreachable. The basket of deplorables, right? In reality, there are people that you can reach. And these are the ones who are desperate, who have been left behind. And yes, some of them have been wrongly led into scapegoating their problems to other people, right? And then you get demagogues like Donald Trump coming in and saying, well, no, I know the problem. It's not the corporations. It's not the powerful. No, it's the Mexicans. Those are the ones that are taking your job. You get rid of the Mexicans. You get rid of all these immigrants, whatever. You build a wall, force 11 million people out. Well, then you'll have a healthcare and then you'll have a job. That's not true. Not true at all. And so, no, in reality, it is the elites. It is the people with the power that are making a lot of us fight each other. And I'm not making excuses for racism or bigotry. It should be called out. It should be stamped out every time it's seen. But I'm saying that some of the origin of that can be traced back to extreme inequities in our society and that we need to fix. And by the way, those extreme inequities are furthered by people like Rick Wilson and corporate Democrats. And they do so with terrible policies. And so to me, the fact that they are, I think that they're both disdainful of regular working people. Again, I don't know about the third guy on the panel. Yeah, he was making some jokes, but again, even I've done that before, to be 100% fair. But I think the corporate Democrat movement, and definitely the Republican movement, is absolutely disdainful of regular working people. And that's exactly how they feel about them. I don't like it. I think it's kind of ominous when you think about it. I think we should be helping the working class. I think we should be educating people and trying to break people's willful ignorance instead of just mocking them. And so I guess I agree more with Bernie Sanders that we do need to reach out and try to bring people around, because I think more people are receptive to progressive policy than we think. And we need to allow people room to grow and to progress. Again, that's what progressivism is all about. And that's why, you got to call out the elitism. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.